Welcome back. Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. I'm John Tabacco. It is a Woman Wednesday, but we must fit in the whopper men guests when breaking news comes upon us. Now, for over a year now, I've been having this guy on the show to talk to us about employment law, labor law, things you need to know for small business owners like yourself, how to stay out of trouble, how to keep yourself out of trouble. And this guy is the best of the best. My good buddy joins me right now, Jonathan Bell. And, you know, yesterday's New York Post, I'm going through it here, and it says the king of Bachata, Romeo Santos, took advantage of his nanny's hours. And I know you schooled me on some of this stuff. And apparently his nanny, Marlene Jean Louise, says she regularly worked 144 hours a week caring for the 39-year-old superstar's newborn, but she was only ever paid $350 a day. And knowing you, JB, now you're representing this woman, and knowing you and the things I've learned from you over the years, making her stick to a set amount of hours and paying her a flat rate and asking her to do things outside of her job, these are all no-nos. So I'm assuming you're taking this case because you think it's a winner.
I know it's a winner, John, and apparently Romeo Santos or his advisors are not watching your show, because if they did watch your show, they would know that you can't pay somebody a flat fee for the day, expect them to work literally 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. There are requirements. There's a domestic, just so your listeners and your viewers know, there's a domestic workers' bill of rights. Nannies, housekeepers, they all have rights, and they have to be paid hourly. There's a lot of people who make the mistake and assume that they could pay them on a flat fee for the week, but those people are totally incorrect, and they're leaving themselves open to some pretty big lawsuits. So that's essentially what happened here. Now, some people say $350 a day. That sounds like a lot of money, but it's still a violation of the law. When you hire a housekeeper or a nanny and they're there in your home and they're working for more than 40 hours a week, if they sleep there, it's overtime over 44 hours a week. You have to put in writing. It's called the Wage Theft Act. You have to put in writing their hourly pay, their overtime rate, the number of hours, and things of that nature. So. Based upon that, they're not going to be happy with this lawsuit, and they're going to be liable.
Well, I can tell you this woman, Marlene here, she picked the right guy, that's for sure. Now, what kind of things, I know you told me, look, if you got, you know, freelance workers and they have a special job, they should just do that job, and don't ask them to go get your dry cleaning, which I used to do all the time, and don't ask them to go get your coffee or an egg sandwich or something like that. $350 does sound a lot, but you don't know what she was doing. Was he also asking her to do things outside of the realm of caring for a kid?
Well, not necessarily, but she was living in the home and she did not have a separate bedroom. So if you have a nanny and you have a live-in nanny, my recommendation is have her have accounted for hours, a sign-in and sign-out sheet, have her in a separate room. So this way, after he or she signs out, they go into the separate room and they sleep that night, they wake up, and then they sign in. You can't have the nanny share a room with the child. In this situation, the poor nanny wouldn't get more than 5 hours sleep. And if the baby woke up, she was the one that was expected to wake up and take care of him. It was uninterrupted sleep. So when you have a situation with uninterrupted sleep, you have to compensate them for those hours. And by the way, part of this Bill of Rights is if you have someone working 7 days a week, that seventh day must be paid time and a half, must be paid overtime, and their paycheck has to basically show that. It can't be hidden. Everything has to be out in the open. The name of your employer, the phone number, the address, the hours worked, the rate of pay, how much tax is being taken out. These are New York labor law requirements. So for your viewers out there, if you have a nanny, you better look a little bit closer into your relationship, because the statute of limitations for these cases are 6 years.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping most guys out there are smart enough to not have a relationship with their nanny, because that's going to cost you a lot more than a fee. That's going to cost you half, at least here in New York. But let me ask you this. How do you work 144 hours in a week? But that sounds like a lot. Like 7 days, that's almost like 20 hours a day. Is she working in her sleep?
That's exactly what it is, John. So if you don't put him or her in a separate room, you have them in the same room as the baby. This is a newborn baby, John. You remember what it's like to take care of a newborn baby. The baby wakes up all the time. So if she has the expectation of waking up and caring for the child and feeding to the child through the night, through the morning, those are all compensable hours.
Wow. So even if she's sleeping, if her sleep should be broken for a minute because the baby squealed, then she's actually on the clock again. And because they didn't give her her own room to live in, they basically exposed her to a set of circumstances where she was always basically working. And then if you take $350 a day, what'd she get paid? 5 days a week or 6 days a week?
She got paid on the 7th day because she literally was working 7 days a week.
So she got paid every 7 days. So effectively, she got paid $2,400 a week, or almost 10 grand a month, right?
Correct. Yes.
So 10 grand a month, 144 hours a week. That's like what, 600, almost 600 hours a month. So when it turns out all said and done, she's really making about $16 an hour.
I mean, realistically, they would give her like a few days off when she needs it, like consecutively. But for most weeks, she was working literally 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, which is absolutely ludicrous and really against the law. You can't do that. Also, just so your audience knows, domestic workers, they have to be paid weekly. They can't get paid every other week. It's one of the requirements in the New York labor law that a lot of people don't know. So we're trying to keep it real and advise your viewers of the correct way to do things. You need, don't try to skirt the system by paying them cash, a weekly wage. You really want to get them on the books. You want to get them workers' comp insurance. You want to get them disability. Even though you're treating them like family, you got to understand that realistically, legally, the employer-employee relationship exists.
So, you said we remember, those old days with the infants. With my first daughter, Victoria, yes. My second daughter, I was lucky enough to have a night nurse. Her name was Agnes. She was fantastic, a Jamaican lady. And she got up with the baby at night. She had her own room. We fed her. We gave her free time on her own. She had the weekend. She went home to her own family. But when the time came up for her to, be done, she only stays for 2 or 3 months. I actually handcuffed her to the radiator in the bedroom because I didn't want her to leave, because I didn't want her to start getting up in the middle of the night. So I did actually kidnap her, but it was 20 years ago. So I think the statute of limitations is probably up on that.
Yeah, I can only speak from a civil nature. Criminally, that's beyond my expertise. But I'm sure, knowing you, she probably had a great time.
Nah, Aggie was great. I'm joking around. So this guy, Romeo Santos here, it seems like he's got a big problem on his hands right away with the issue. But then all of a sudden, Jonathan Bell from the Bell Law Group shows up, and the thing's on page 6 in the Post. So I see you're already spreading your wings. I have a feeling this guy, Mr. Bachata here, is going to be bashotting his pants very soon. And there's probably going to be a settlement, I hope.
Well, I hope so. I mean, realistically, this guy's worth a fortune. Not going to really put much of a dent in it. But really, I feel badly. He should really look at the people who are surrounding him and advising him, because I don't think he's making these decisions on his own. He probably has an accountant or lawyer that he's dealing with these certain issues, and they're just not giving him the right advice, and he's not protecting himself. So it's really it's an unfortunate situation, because I would guess that he's having advisors just give him the wrong advice.
Well, whoever advised Marlene Jean-Louise to hire you was getting some really good advice, that's for sure. And I got to tell you, over the years, you're always a great guest. You're always a good sport when I fool around and joke around and stuff. But for those business owners out there, if you really want to know if you're getting close to the line, if you're blurring the line, if you're confused about something, you reach out to this guy, because he's not one of these rip-off lawyers. I brought him cases where he said, hey, I don't even want to take this thing. Here's what you can do on your own. But his advice is sound. He's a real guy. He's not some ambulance chaser, and cares about his clients, and has given me some great advice over the years, and I really appreciate it. JB, thanks. Good luck getting the king of bachata. And if you need any help,
John, I hear an ambulance. I got to run. I'll see you later.
If you need any help with Romeo Santos, let me know.
All right, John. Have a good one.
You're
Thanks
the
for
man.
having me
That's
on.
Jonathan Bell. He's the founder of Bell Law Group, one of the best in the business, if you ask me.